All right, so I grabbed a stack of board games. You've never like played any of the sort of like newer stuff, I highly recommend it. There's like such great games out there. They're not all the roll and move, or you get eliminated and now you're waiting for 5 hours until everybody else is done. A lot of game design nowadays has players playing all the way through, and it has you do like engaging with like really cool mechanics. And in the last 25 years or so, board games have become incredible. I haven't been able to play as many because it's the pandemic and I'm not really hanging out with people. I am on Board Game Arena, and I do have multiple Yahtzee games going. Should we check in to see if Rachel's taken her turn? Give me a second. Let's go see if we've got to roll our dice. If she's made her turn, then we'll do that on stream. Board Game Arena. How do I... 11 notifications. Table Yahtzee's ended. Yeah, got it. I can't remember. How do I check my play now? Nope. Where do I check my tables? This I always... Here, tables. Table icon. Game in progress. Open for joining. Nope, that game's not ready to go. This game's not ready to go. So I know you can't see my screen right now. Nope. It's not my turn right now. So nothing to see here. Never heard of Board Game Arena? Oh, okay. So Board Game Arena, I'll pull up my browser right now. Board Game Arena is a website that supports multiple games, and you can play them online. You can play them in real time, or you can play them like whenever it's convenient for you to take a turn. So right now I've got multiple games going. This is one with Rachel from Double Jump. We've just been like playing each other back and forth for weeks in Yahtzee. And then yeah, just throughout the day, I just check my phone, roll the dice, and then carry on. And it's a fantastic way to try out new games that, I know board games can be very expensive. You can try it for free. You can't host tables. You have to pay for that. I think the price is reasonable though for a subscription. But if you're comfortable joining random tables, you can play anything for free. Try it out, see if you like it or not. All right, so some recommendations for board games. If you're new to the hobby, if your memories of board games are like Uno and Candyland and Monopoly, there's so many more games out there. Lots of fantastic stuff with like truly inventive, innovative gameplay mechanics. You're not sitting there waiting for people to take their turns, or you don't get eliminated right away. Let me show you some great ones. I mean, this one's probably mainstream. I know this one's popular on Twitch now too. Codenames. This is an awesome team-based game. There's a bunch of code words on the back that are assigned to each team, and the code master, I can't remember, the spy master I think is the term, for each team has to give one word clues to try and get you to guess the right number, like as many words as you can on your side without picking the other team's words or the assassin that automatically ends the game. You can play this for 4 players and up. It scales to almost any size group. It's a ton of fun to play, and you can play this. You can play this online as well. There's an official site. You just get a bunch of people together, try it out. Codenames, so good. 24 euros per year is pretty reasonable. You think you should look into this and get some of your friends? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been playing it with family and friends, and it's a lot of fun. This one you may not hear. Most of these are like the hobby games. This is a little more like underground. But it's one of my favorites. This is called Kuruba, and the premise of this game is that you are guiding a group of explorers from an island to the treasure deep in the island, right? And so the way it works is everyone gets their own board, and it works. One player is basically drawing the tiles. So imagine bingo where you're drawing the number, and then everyone plays that exact same tile, but you can place it anywhere you want on the board. So it's like, oh, do I put it here to let the blue person go forward, or do I place it later on as a branch so that it's easier for people to get to things later? You all have like the same general layout to start, but then everyone builds their routes differently to try and get to the goals as efficiently as possible while getting the most points. This one's a great one to start off with, and it's a fantastic game. So Kuruba. Another tile laying classic, Carcassonne, that you might have come across. This is one where each player, you draw a tile, you put it on the board in a way that locks into the other pieces, and at the end of the game you've built this sprawling city and you try and claim the areas that get you the most points. It's pretty easy to learn and it's a ton of fun as well. I think it's just magic how the tiles all piece together, and it's a different game every time, and the strategy changes like from game to game because you're building different stuff each time. Randy says you've been playing Carcassonne on BGA too. Oh man, so good. We have to connect and get some games going. Here's a cooperative game, maybe the most popular cooperative board game, and I think the theme is very fitting right now considering the state of the world. Pandemic. So unlike a lot of classic board games where you are playing against one another, here you're playing against the game. The game has spread 4 deadly diseases across the planet, and you're trying to, cure people and come up with cures for these diseases. And before you run out of time or the world gets overly infected, there's a ton of different variations, dice games, cards games, expansions for this. Pandemic Legacy is like one of my all-time favorite games. I'd start here. This one is a modern classic and definitely a great introduction to co-op board games. Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, it's a fantastic game, and it might hit a little close to home because the whole point of the game is to prevent a pandemic from happening, and in real life we lost, but that is neither here nor there. Two more games. This one, another all-time classic board game, Ticket to Ride. This one is it kind of plays like, I've heard it plays like Rummy, where you're collecting sets of cards and you're claiming routes on the board, train routes across the United States or whichever version of Ticket to Ride you got. There's a lot of different versions. I personally like the classic North America. And it's very fascinating because everyone gets bonus cards that give you bonus points for completing specific routes, but only one person can claim a route at a time, and you might block someone from getting to their route in the most efficient way. It's a fantastic game, and there's an app for this too online. It's pretty cheap and it's a ton of fun. So Ticket to Ride, I highly recommend. Personally, my all-time favorite game. And one more. This one, another under the radar cut, but I think it's a phenomenal game that people don't talk about nearly enough. Lords of Vegas. This one, oh man, it's got so much drama. It's kind of like if you take Catan and like the controlling of different properties and getting bonuses depending on which properties you own, combined with like Monopoly and the money that's flying around the table. You're gambling at other people's casinos. You're taking over other people's casinos. Oh man, there's so much drama, so much action, and it's so fun. I would love to stream this game at some point because it's, yeah, again, one of my all-time favorite board games that not a lot of people talk about, but it's a banger. Absolute banger. Lords of Vegas. There we go. Those are some recommendations. If anyone else wants to chime in with some board game recos, you're more than welcome to throw some in.